Speaking of how he brought it, I got some clips from this this collision. You know, the two football helmets smashing against each other as Kash Patel's big stupid head bashes into every kind of Democrat that's going to ask him any kind of questions about what it is that he's been covering up. So let's start with his statement where he decided to get straight to the what it is that he knows people are going to ask him about.
Now, I know that there's a lot of talk about Epstein, and I'm here to testify that the original sin in the Epstein case was the way it was initially brought by Mr. Acosta back in 2006. The original case involved a very limited search warrant or set of search warrants and didn't take as much investigatory material as it should have seized. If I were the FBI director then, it wouldn't have happened. The search warrants were limited to small time periods to include 2002 to 2005 and 1997 to 2001. Mr. Acosta allowed Epstein to enter in 2008 to a plea and non-prosecution agreement, which then the courts issued mandates and protective orders legally prohibiting anyone from ever seeing that material ever again without the permission of the court. The non-prosecution agreements also barred future prosecutions for those involved at that time of those individuals. Still, this administration, at the direction of President Trump, has done more to turn over all the credible information we are legally able to do so, and we will continue to work with Congress to achieve that end.
Weak sauce. Okay, so it's Alex Acosta's fault. Alex Acosta gave him this sweetheart deal and made sure that everything was all completely covered up and no future prosecutorial advantages and any kind of processes could happen. None of it could happen ever again. So therefore, Kash Patel, head of the FBI, who said he's going to get to the bottom of this, said, there's nothing I can do. All I can do is read from this well-prepared statement that says it was Alex Acosta's fault that he's completely tied our hands together and made us completely unable to get to the bottom of this whole thing that we said we can't wait to get to the bottom of. Maybe we should have Foghorn Leghorn ask Kash Patel some more questions about what is that went down.
You've seen most of the files. Who, if anyone, did Epstein traffic these young women to besides himself?
Himself. There is no credible information. None. If there were, I would bring the case yesterday that he trafficked to other individuals. And the information we have, again, is limited.
So the answer is no one?
For the information that we have.
In the files?
In the case file.
Okay.
There's nothing in those files. There's nothing there. Senator Kennedy asked him about it. There's nothing there. I mean, as far as he knows, and as far as what I'm able to see, you see all those caveats and all those particulars about what is they can do. Now, Kash Patel being asked about the information that he's seen those files. Well, I don't have access to those files again because our hands are tied. For some reason, someone tied all of our hands and I just have no information. Let's let Dick Durbin ask him more questions about it and see how his energy changes.
General Bondi also pushed the FBI to review approximately 100,000 Epstein-related records on an arbitrarily short deadline in March, and the FBI was directed to flag any documents that mentioned President Trump. Why was this July 7th memorandum unsigned?
Would you prefer I've used AutoPen?
Why was it unsigned?
The memorandum had the insignia of the Department of Justice and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. And in our effort to secure transparency for the American people, because the three prior administrations had not done so, we conducted an exhaustive search of everything related to the Epstein cases, and we produced what was legally and permissibly able to be produced to Congress and the American public.
So
and there's a congressional subpoena, and we're continuing to do so.
Did you personally direct that investigation so that you would sign such a...
Did I personally direct what investigation?
Of the Epstein records for any reference to President Trump?
Again, you are citing reporting that I think is baseless. We conducted an investigation of the Epstein case files pursuant to the direction of the President of the administration to provide all credible information, and we are working with Congress pursuant to a congressional subpoena to turn over all the documents we can. All individuals.
Who at DOJ and FBI was responsible for its drafting and conclusions?
Many individuals at the Department of Justice and the FBI are responsible.
There was no lead person?
The Attorney General leads the Department of Justice, and I lead the FBI.
So the Attorney General was responsible for that?
The Attorney General leads the Department of Justice.
I think we're starting to see where these divisions came. I think we've hit that brick wall where Kash Patel, after he's now cornered on what it is that they released and why they didn't say much and why they claim nothing was really there. And then we finally get to the next culprit, Pam Bondi. He said it twice, maybe even 3 times. That is the Department of Justice. That's the Attorney General. Who is the person? He didn't really want to say it, but Dick Durbin pushed him to that point because that's where these lines of division then happened. None of them really want the buck to stop with them, but they're all really happy to keep it moving until people stop asking questions. Again, it's why the president keeps saying things like, why are you guys still talking about this whole thing with Jeffrey Epstein? I don't understand it. It's so stupid. Dick Durbin did ask him about the original thing that the Senate Judiciary Committee did post, and that was these firings from people who weren't loyal enough to the president.
There's a New York Times story this morning about Chris Meyer. As I understand it, he was your personal pilot, at least for some period of time. Mr. Meyer has quite a record himself. Flew over 350 hours as an Air Force pilot on 3 aircraft types in Afghanistan. Mr. Jardina, another former FBI agent, a 1999 graduate of U.S. Naval Academy, commanded 100 Marines in combat during the 2003 invasion of Iraq, participated in several firefights, followed up with 2011 deployment as reservist to Afghanistan, where he interrogated senior Taliban officials. It appears that you terminated these 2 agents. Why?
I'm not going to get into personnel decisions that we made.
So you're not accountable for your decisions to take people who've served our country so admirably and terminate them without any cause?
That's a one-sided story. Anyone that has been terminated from the
tell
FBI, generally
your side
speaking,
of the story.
failed to meet the needs of the FBI and uphold their constitutional duties. And you providing a one-sided story from your purge is absolutely disgraceful, because the men and women of the FBI deserve better. And your attack on the current leadership of the men and women of the FBI is equally disgraceful, because now you're attacking the leaders that are our brave SACs in the field who are doing the job that this country needs.
It's disgraceful.
And we will continue to do it.
Excuse me, it's disgraceful when Mr. Meyer and Mr. Jardina, who served our country so well, are terminated apparently because of the rants of a podcaster.
Anytime these guys, this administration's normal standard process is, once they're cornered with their hypocrisy or an exposure of the way that they are, the fascist approach they've had to this government, keeping loyalists in and making sure that things are covered up and hidden. When they're finally cornered, it goes to, how dare you? How dare you attack my credibility and my honor and my principles, sir? Fuck your principles, because we've seen where your principles have led us, to this cover-up of this child sex trafficker, to this now damn near release of his closest accomplice in Ghislaine Maxwell, how they've tried to sanitize her as not who she is. There's no principles or credibility or honor left. Please stop acting like you have any, because I know, I get it. You know, newspapers and mainstream media outlets are always concerned about whether or not they're going to continue to have their access. That's what they keep threatening people with. Donald Trump was threatening a reporter today.
And what do you make Pam Bondi saying she's going to go after hate speech? Is that, I mean, a lot of your allies say hate speech is free speech.
She'll probably go after people like you because you treat me so unfairly. It's hate. You have a lot of hate in your heart. Maybe they'll come after ABC. Well, ABC paid me $16 million recently for a form of hate speech, right? Your company paid me $16 million for a form of hate speech. So maybe they'll have to go after you.
Their only operation, as far as this fascist approach to how they're running this country, is to threaten anyone once they get way too close to those answers. Speaking of which, here's some of the things they're supposed to take care of too. Him and Dan Bongino.
Mr. Bongino called the placement of pipe bombs outside the DNC and RNC headquarters on January 6th, quote, an inside job, and went on to say, this was a setup. I have zero doubt, and whoever goes into the FBI, you better get an answer about why. Director Patel, you and Deputy Director Bongino are now leading the FBI. What is the evidence to suggest the pipe bombs placed outside of the DNC and RNC on January 6th were an inside job?
I appreciate the opportunity to discuss Director Bongino's mind record. So many on this committee and the media jettison our 31 years of public service.
Can you answer the question, sir?
I'm answering the question. You're questioning the integrity of the deputy director of the FBI and mine.
If you found any
and I'm going to
evidence.
answer the question. The pipe bomb investigation is ongoing, and I'm not going to discuss the details of the pipe bomb investigation. Mr. Bongino was a Secret Service agent for 15 years, a police officer for 5. I served this country in multiple administrations for 16 years. We were also private citizens, and we are now back in government service. And what we have the ability to do is set aside our personal beliefs to deliver the mission of justice for this country, and we're doing it day in and day out. And I find it disgusting that everyone and anyone would jettison our 31 years of combined experience that is now at the helm of the FBI, delivering historic results at historic speeds for the American people.
So you have no evidence?
I got a lot of evidence, and I'll give it to you when I can.
I'm upset, and it's abhorrent the way that you would question my 33 years. I'll combine 33 years of government service to this country, as you just dismissed and blew off the years and years of service and the people that you fired from what you couldn't give us an answers to reasons why that you did it. But it's only your credibility. It's only your honor that matters. It's almost like this is a biased administration that works only for the people that kiss its ass. It's kind of like it's a fascist state. It's almost like they're covering everything else up and they just want to come out trying to look decent, but they really don't like questions. Have you noticed that? So Donald Trump this morning was asked how much faith he has in Kash Patel, since that's what the report was asking about. Remember, he was asked about Kash Patel.
Confidence in Kash Patel. What are you hoping comes from his testimony on the Hill today?
Well, first of all, I think that Pam Bondi has done an unbelievable job, and everybody agrees with that. And Kash, if you take a look at what he did with respect to this horrible person that he just captured. He did it in 2 days. It took other similar cases 4 days, 5 days, 4 years, if you look at certain shooters. Now, I have confidence in everybody in the administration. My administration, and a lot of people are saying it, not just me, it's so far the best administration ever formed.
How do you get to talking about how a lot of people are saying this is the best administration ever formed when you were asked if you've got some confidence in Kash Patel, which the first answer was, well, first I want to talk about is how much confidence I have in Pam Bondi, who clashed with Kash Patel and Dan Bongino over the release of these files, or what is it they saw in files before their eyes got really big and they said, let's not talk about these files anymore.